Hey everybody, my name is Logan and I'm coming to you through a generous grant from Men in Transition and viewers like you. This week I'll be talking to you about passing, tips and tricks to avoid getting mammed. I know, I hate it, you hate it. I'm going to break it down into 3 parts for you so we can hit the ground running. Step 1, your appearance. You've felt like a man for a while now and you've decided to let the rest of the world know what's up. Good for you. Make sure they get the message loud and clear. Step 2, attitude. Whether it feels right or not, stepping out into the world with a new look can be nerve-wracking, but you gotta own it. Step 3, logistics. They'll bite you every single time. So, let's get started today by talking a little bit about your appearance. The most important thing to remember when you start transitioning. When people call you ma'am or miss or hey lady, it's not to be mean, it's not to be rude, and they're, for the most part, I will say, not trying to take away what you feel to be your identity. They're trying really, really hard not to get it wrong. Because the last thing anybody wants to do is offend some random person on the street. They're only calling you ma'am because that's what their brain is telling them to. So, step 1, your very first, very best friend is going to be this guy, the binder. Um, some of them are specifically for trans people. Mine, personally, is a gynecomastia shirt. You hook it up, and it's like the boobs were never there. In fact, this with snug sports bra gives me some pretty decent abs, I'd say, especially under my dress shirts. This thing is going to save your life. No boobs, no ma'am. The other thing you got to worry about. Honestly, I'd start off with some kind of baggy clothes because it gives you some wiggle room with the top, and the baggier you are, the less it looks like you have lady hips. Guys have wide shoulders, slim hips. Women have narrow shoulders, wide hips. It's so they can give birth. So if you come in with narrow shoulders and wide hips, no matter whether you have boobs or not, the back of their brain identifies you as female, and so that just filters straight through. They don't take the second to wonder if you've got boobs because you look like a woman. You're proportioned like a woman. So I would say baggy pants. Wear them around your hips so that it looks like your waist. Do what it takes to get rid of those big old birthing hips. And then just find the slickest studs you can. Honesty moment, I'm going for kind of a 40s look. I've got the suspenders, the old newsboy hat, I wear a lot of plaid. I love it. I get to wear a suit jacket everywhere and it makes me smile. Find a look that works for you. You probably already have one in mind from the years you've spent watching other guys. You know what you want to look like. So, my best advice is to hit up a thrift store for your first man purchase. Just because it's going to be better off that way. Cheap. Once you look like a dude, it's in the attitude. My biggest problem was I was looking at the ground all the time. Whenever I walked, I'd stare at my feet. You gotta have the swagger, the attitude. I've read a lot of guides online that say attitude is gonna betray you every time. And I'm not talking about masculine versus feminine because you can be a masculine girl or a feminine dude. I'm just talking about the walk. Everybody knows that men and women walk differently. You've been trained for a lot of years now to walk like a lady, so your man walk is important. One of my favorite online guides recommends picking a model in your head, somebody you've seen walk a lot, somebody you've got a lot of mind footage of. TV stars, movie people, whatever, somebody that you've seen walk a lot. The person that I was reading from picked Dean from Supernatural. Mine is Joe Flanagan, that's his name. Plays John Shepherd on Atlantis, and he's awesome. But just pick somebody that you've seen walk a lot. Pick somebody that you admire as a guy. Pattern your walk off of his. It'll help you until you can find your own way of doing it. It'll help you get out of girl walk. Talk to people. If you can talk to somebody with your low man voice before they get a chance to try and check, you're going to come off as a guy every time. It's just the way it is. Give them every opportunity to think of you as a man before they start to check. And they won't try to check. That's just how people are. The back of your brain makes that decision. Once it has, it doesn't check for anything to corroborate it. The last thing I want to talk to you about today is logistics, because once I got the first 2 down, I kept getting screwed. Anytime you use a credit card, you are going to get mammed. Anytime you pull out your driver's license, you are going to get ma'amed. Anytime you have any piece of identification with your former name on it, they will call you ma'am because when they see Laura, they see girl. No matter what you look like, no matter how you sound, no matter what you do, if they see that your name is feminine, they will call you ma'am. And one more thing that I know a lot of people have had some questions about. Bathrooms. I live in a state where laws have been passed where I am the only person who gets to decide what bathroom I go into. I thought that was amazing when I found out, not because I'm glad about it, but because I think it's ridiculous that there are any opposing laws in the first place. Honestly, I'd be using a men's room no matter what, because that's what I am. Some people use STPs, stand to pee devices in bathrooms for urinals. I've got one on back order, I just hit the stall. Nobody questions it, nobody gives me crap. I enjoy it. And plus, it's a little bit awkward to go into the women's room after you've been manning it up anyway. Those are my tips and tricks, and I know it can suck when you've decided that this is who you are and you keep having people call you ma'am or miss. Just my advice would be to revel in the victories. I went to a thrift store one time. This was a couple of weeks ago. I got all my man clothes, and I was so excited. And the register lady, after checking out all my dress shirts and ties and slacks and men's shoes, before I handed her my form of payment, called me ma'am, and I got so sad that I went out to the bus stop and had like a 5-minute conversation with some guy. And it was awesome, because he called me dude like 8 times, and he called me man, and yo, and sup, and it was just 2 guys having a conversation, and I enjoyed that way more than it frustrated me to be ma'amed. Enjoy the little victories, and take solace in knowing who you are. I've been Logan, talking to you this week about passing. This is Men in Transition, and we are your guides to everything trans. Well, FTM. Have a good day.